It always has been about loyalty, because with loyalty, you can go anywhere. If you're thinking you should get rid of somebody, you probably should have done it a month ago.
Welcome to the Install Pros podcast, where we sit down with the people who are building, leading, and setting the standard in the home renovation space. I'm your host, Emily Parson, and I'm very excited to introduce you to our inaugural guest, John Tilstra, who is the founder of Centra. He's the current CEO of Wesmont Homes, and among many other entrepreneurial ventures across his very long career. And so I am very excited to talk with you today, John. Thank you so much for being our inaugural guest on the Install Pros podcast.
Thank you, Emily, and I'm looking forward to having the talk today.
Yeah. Let's get into it. So this is fun. So John and I have known each other for over 16 years. John hired me, for context for everybody. And it's really fun because when I first started with Centra, I was working in marketing. And whenever we gave John the mic, it was a bit of a PR risk. So this is going to be fun today. We don't know what we're going to get. John loves to gab. So why don't you kick us off, John? Tell us a little bit about you and your journey to get us started.
I'm John Tilstra. I got a family of 4, 8 grandkids, and enjoyed a good life. And I'm on... We're in the building business now, building industrial tilt-ups as well as multifamily projects of single family of residential homes. And we're in the Okanagan as well as the Lower Mainland. And I sit on various boards. I've been on with Trinity on Trinity University on some site design changes they're going to do. And for future planning on the university, as well as sit on the board of PHL Capital, which is a mortgage investment group.
Very diverse. How do you make decisions on what you want to do next?
How I try to limit what I want to do next because I'm busy
enough. You don't just say
enough.
yes to everything.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't. But how do you make the decisions is well, you got to realize, is it a benefit? How much time do you have to allow? But when I put my name to something, I like to be involved, and it's a responsibility to be involved in something. So whether you're nonprofits or whether you're doing work for companies, then that's usually what I like to have. So
yeah. Let's go back to the beginning, if you don't mind. So when you first started Centra, 1984, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What inspired you to start the business to begin with?
Well, what inspired me? Well, first and foremost, there was no work. So I had to eat. So basically, what society has to do is you got to find a way. And a person, you had to eat. And it was really tough time. Double-digit interest rates, upwards of hitting 18% at the time. And there was no construction going on, like very limited. And it was hard to find a job. I was thinking about going back to Ontario, work on a farm again, because I'm from a farming background. And anyway, we stuck it out, and I had to go on my own to find work. And I started in the siding business, and putting on cedar siding, and then it went to vinyl siding, and then
because originally it was Centra Siding. Was the name? Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's how we all started.
And when did that transition happen over to the window side?
We went to the window side in 1996. April of 96. So just, we had to, I wanted to change. We all wanted to grow through the 90s. Things were getting a little better, and 1990s, things were getting a little better. And I could see there was some issues coming up with the unions and all that stuff because it's an NDP government. And then we went into an ESOP program, which was an employee share ownership plan, right at that period.
Walk me through that decision. Why was that so important to you? For those of you who don't know, Centra is 100% employee owned and operated to this day. And it's such a gift that John established that early on. And we were able to buy the company from John when he retired, and you had it set up for succession planning. So walk us through why that was such an important decision for you early on in the process.
Well, I think it's one of the best decisions I made.
I think so too, for me personally.
Yeah. And you know what? I get asked all the time, still today, on how to set the ESOPs up, why you do it, why you don't do it. And so many people want to do it, but they don't have the guts to do it. And I say it's not as hard as you think. You give up control and a lot of things, but in our case, our family still controlled 49%. I wanted 1 less percent due to tax reasons and due to making sure that the people knew, who are my partners, knew that they could overthrow me if they wanted to. So it was a decision we made at the time.
What did that look like when you first kind of launched the concept to the group of you that were together at the time? And how easy was it to get buy-in, or was it very difficult? Like, how did those conversations go?
Well, what we had at the time was probably was siding guys, and we were doing the BC Hydro Power Smart program. So we did a lot of energy efficiency. So with siding, you always got to do windows. So we were very good at draft proofing, ventilation, insulating, putting in air-to-air heat exchangers, doing bath fans to create house as a system. So we were good at that. And through BC Hydro, we learned a lot of stuff on business. And the window side, vinyl was just coming in. It's less sweating. The aluminum windows were not made well, and it was just coming in the 90s. And then we were getting suppliers. We were even getting companies from the States, and they'd be missing screens, the wrong sizes, and it was costing us so much money to go back and forth all the time.
We can do this better.
And we could do it better. Yeah. So I started researching, because vinyl siding is basically similar. Your profile's going through a line. And so I got hooked up with some of the manufacturers, and we started on that road. And I had a great partner who set a lot of this up, and his name was Peter Thiessen. And he was one of my neighbors. So we collaborated. He was in the aluminum business, and I said, this is what we want. And he says, well, the only way it works is if you do installations.
Yeah. And Peter worked with us for a really long time, and he retired a few years ago as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the manufacturing, that was the idea of it. But to go back to the ESOP, that was an interesting way, because it was a lot to do with the NDP government at the time was pushing unions, and we were worried about the unions coming into our shop. So at the same time we started the manufacturing, I thought, let's share. It was very tough economically for like a carpenter making $25 an hour to make a living when he retires on a contract, unless you had a retirement fund. So I wanted people to invest in themselves. So you, instead of your RSP, you invest in the company, and the company can teach you finances. And that was the idea. And, I brought the first 14 on, and they got some tax write-offs, and they got to learn how to make money through the company as a partner. And that's why I did it, so that when people retired, they had something when they left Centra.
Is there something a specific moment or a time throughout your career while you were still with Centra that makes you really, really proud? Like when you think about your time here?
What makes me proud is when we built our first manufacturing building and set up everything here, because that was a huge step for us at the time.
Big risk,
and a big risk.
Yeah.
But, I've always been in the theory of, there's nothing gained if you never risk anything. And, my dad always said is you go into the world with nothing, you're going to go out with nothing. So I never really worried. If the analytics work, I'm thinking we can do it.
Yeah.
And my partners were very good.
Yeah.
I had my partners were really good, and leadership was good, and they stood beside us, and they worked.
We often
Hard.
refer to the group of you as our founding fathers.
Yeah.
And we still have a couple that are not maybe retiring soon, but have a little bit longer to go.
Yes.
Yeah, which we get a whole lot of great information from.
So the other part that I was proud of, and still today, is when we started Centra Cares.
Oh, yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because that was probably the second most important part I enjoyed, because I got to see you and the group to teach them how to give back in a responsible way.
Yeah. And that was always part of our Centra DNA, was giving back. And that was something that was always very important to you. But really establishing the Centra Cares Foundation made it really, really tangible and real to make sure that that foundation wasn't going nowhere. Like, it was a part of us forever.
Do you know that there's a bunch of other companies that are doing what we started there?
Yeah, which is amazing, because actually
A lot
the
more
Centra
than you
Cares
know.
Foundation, the mission there is to inspire other businesses to give back. And so I love that. So going back to some memories of your times here, I have a distinct memory of you walking around the offices, and you had one very specific question. So I want to dig into that. And it was, are you winning? Why was that such an important, it had a big impact on all of us, and we still talk about it today and we use it. Why was that an important question that you were asking, and what were you trying to gauge when you were asking that?
Well, I love sports.
Yeah.
And I love teamwork. And I really, really felt engaged into asking questions to my staff to find out where they stand. And the reaction on their faces or smiles is how they usually did. So it wasn't necessarily always their answers, but I get to find out where the troubles were.
Yeah.
The wins, everybody tells you. It wasn't where the troubles, so it was an opposite question, actually.
Yeah. It was really a good way also to know if the team is paying attention to the results that are important.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I got to find out where the problems were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that was more important to me than the wins, because I knew about the wins.
Yeah. It's a good question.
Are you winning?
Are you winning?
It's all about
Define
every day.
winning. Yeah.
Positive aspect every day, all the time.
When you think back of all of the stages of growth that you saw Centra through, and then where we're at today, what were those kind of pivotal moments where you were like, "Whoa, this is a big move"? You said manufacturing, opening the plant was one of them. There's some other key moments throughout that journey where you were like, this is big. This is the next level. Like, what that leveling up feels like.
Well, in business, when you go from 1 million to 3 million, it's a big change. And then you hit the 5 to 8 million. It's a huge change. And then we hit from 10 to 15 million. And then all of a sudden we were growing at 20% a year for 5 years solid in the 2000s. And we were blessed with some really good people, but they were very much taxed. So then you have to find a way to become departmentalizing all the issues, right? Like departmentalizing the problems to create departments like safety, like sales department, a marketing department, and you had installation departments. So everybody departmentalized the company. And that became systems throughout my leadership would push for systems, and reporting has been key to it, like daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, right?
Yeah.
So hiring professionals on that level was a great treat for me.
Yeah. You asked me one question during my interview that I want to dive into because I think that this is really, really good. You asked me the question of what business are we in? And of course, I answered it in the very traditional way. Well, we replace windows and doors and we're in the construction industry. And you were like, wrong. We're in the marketing business because without a lead, you never have the opportunity to sell a job. You never have the opportunity to get our install crews in, blow the customers away, and keep that flywheel going in essence. And so they hired me anyways, even though I got the question wrong. But why was marketing such an important piece to you and our business?
Well, marketing makes the world go round.
Yeah.
It's all about the brand. And a simple way to look at the branding is like, okay, Starbucks. How do you charge $5 for a cup of coffee and Tim Hortons is $2? So there's a $3 gain there on a small item that's 150%. So you got to look at it and say, how is that possible through making a coffee that they've been making for hundreds of years? Well, it is possible through great marketing, great service, great quality, and consistency.
Yeah, that's
so
the value proposition.
You put great people in great people that are loyal in good seats, you can create it with good marketing.
Yeah. And I think that the gift that you gave us early on with the employer ownership also plays such a big impact into that because everyone across the organization cares so much about making sure that we're taking care of the customer with that understanding that our happy customers are truly our best advertising. And yeah, that was such a gift because that employee ownership and the other piece on the employee ownership, so John retired to start other ventures. Was it just before 2020, 2019?
Yeah, January 2020. Yeah.
January 2020.
December.
And if all of you can remember what happened of March of 2020 and everything shut down. And we thought that John had a bit of a crystal ball. Like John's always been very good at being able to, because you're very involved in the industry and the community, and you've got a sense of what's coming. But I don't think that you knew that was coming. No. But one thing that I feel, even though you were separating yourself from the business at that time, the employee ownership and us all being very invested, we had each other through that really challenging time. And I saw a lot of solo entrepreneurs that was very difficult because they were making decisions for the safety of their teams on their own. And we had each other to talk through, and we recognized that right away when the world shut down, we were like, okay, we are going to make a game plan. If we can keep our people safe, if we can keep our customers safe, business as usual. And we really made those decisions together. And it was that model of knowing that we're all owners, we're in this together, and we will get through it together.
Yes. I agree with you that really, really helps as ownership, the team. But team is easy to talk about, but to own a team is wonderful.
Yeah.
And that you know their families. You don't got to be with them all the time, but you got to know them, and you got to know what their problems are and how their kids are, what's going on for them to lead properly, that they're working at night, that they're working early in the morning, and they're taking care of things that are, whether you have a leak or whether you have an issue, that we come together on those issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
You're in business with your kids now. How is that dynamic different from our employee ownership model here at Centra and then moving into business with your family?
It's excellent. Yeah, you know what? My wife wanted me to help out with teaching the kids to do what they wanted, and that's what they wanted to do is building. And so I invested into them. I wanted to give them 5 years. It's turned out it's probably going to be 8 years of time, and it's been very rewarding. The markets go up, markets go down, but you know what? You got to buy for the right reasons, not the wrong reasons. And right now, the market is right down, and we're mitigating different avenues to get out of various projects. and finish them off, and you got to build them out and take care of it. It's the same idea, and bringing costs down and negotiate better with the cities and municipalities. And so, it's a challenge with all the trades, and try to stay with your dedicated trades, because of the dedicated trades. I had a conversation yesterday with our Sean, my construction manager, and I says, try to stick to the regular guys if they're close on pricing. If you're going to do an RFP, request for proposal on doing work, if they're close, you stick with the regulars. But if you're going to do an RFP, you have to go low tender.
Yeah.
So that's the case. So we want our regulars taken care of first, because they take care of us.
Throughout your career, and because you've invested in a lot of different places, and you've had a vast career, when were you having the most fun? Is it now?
Oh, I love what I do now, but I extremely enjoyed growing Centra. It was my baby. It was a big challenge.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to enjoy building a company, building up people, letting people make a good money, and having a lifestyle for their family, creating that team. Could you imagine how that felt, right?
Yeah.
And that they could retire, a lot of them, right?
And did you see how special it was while you were here? Or is it more so looking back?
Oh no, I could see it then. That was the reason why we did it.
Yeah.
And to teach, and it was fantastic. And you see, all those guys are pretty well my friends.
Yeah.
Still today, and some of them still invest
family.
in projects.
Yeah.
Some of them still invest in some of my projects, right? They're that close. So it's been a great experience. So, but do I enjoy a lot of other things? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But
how was that process?
I wouldn't ever want to take it away.
No.
But responsibility wise, it's a lot nicer in some ways. But I was very into it all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
You always impress me, though, your ability to ensure you're still prioritizing your family. Even though you were on and you worked a lot, you always made sure that family was number one.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, basically, yeah, you got to say, I've said it over and over, the 4 F's. Faith, to clear your head. Family, to support you and take care of. Friends, to be with you all the time. Fitness, to mentally exhaust you so you can sleep.
Yeah.
Right? So those
Everybody
things.
Hear that? Say those one more time. Your 4 F's. Those are good.
Faith, family, friends, and fitness. You need those to make your life. I feel that you really, really need them to clear your mind, to get rid of the anxieties, the pressure, and to live life. You got to enjoy a walk in the park. So some people aren't physically able to, but you can walk in the park. You got to clear your mind on certain things. It might be drama. It might be something else, playing hockey or soccer or volleyball.
Yeah.
But you need something to let you sleep at night.
Yeah. And I think the time outside, too. You do a lot of sports that are outside activities. And I think that time in nature is so healing.
You said it to me a month ago.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think too, like when I started my family, I was working here, and having mentors like yourself and so many other people that I saw prioritizing family and ensuring that we were doing those things, and it was important. I think it's lessons that I certainly took into when I was starting my family and ensuring that I had that balance, and valuable.
It's important,
valuable.
and I had a lot of people that would support that too. You needed that time off to rethink.
Yeah.
Right? To think where you're going the next.
Yeah.
So I know when I tell people this story that this CEO is taking this person through a company, it's manufacturing, and he's going to hire this person and taking him right through the office, and there's an empty room there, and this guy says to the CEO, says, well, what's that room for? That's the thinking room. And why would you have a thinking room? Well, this person comes in one day a month and does our thinking for us, because thinking is so important on where you go. That became a thinking room. So, it's so easy to criticize the leadership, but to think things through and implement is difficult because it's on leadership's name and outcome at the end.
Yeah. Where do you do your best thinking?
Oh, it would be out where I am alone, like out in the woods, all that stuff. Exercising.
Many occasions, getting an email or a text message from you, and you were on a chairlift. You must have had that time on the mountain, and it was just like, this is John's ideas. Your mind is clear, and like you would just get on and send a quick message before you're heading back down the mountain again.
It could be in a shower.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I'm sure you are the same, right?
Yeah. It's interesting, though, how often it is not when you're in front of your computer. Like, if you're working through a problem, like,
it ain't
it's not happening while you're like right in front of your computer and forcing it. Driving also.
Yes.
I feel like when your mind is clear.
By yourself.
By yourself. Yeah. Not with the kids in the back seat.
No.
Let's talk leadership for a minute, John, and really dive into what your leadership philosophy is and how, what's your process to hiring good people? Because we got great people here, and you're responsible for hiring a lot of them.
For me, it's about, it always has been about loyalty, because with loyalty, you can go anywhere. So knowing that you are a great athlete, you stayed with it, you went through university, you stayed with it, you went through a job that you stayed with it, and you come through the family here and you want to be together. And the loyalty was probably the key component to everything.
What leadership beliefs have you changed your mind on over the years? Is there anything that you thought 40 years ago that now you're like, you've completely changed your philosophy on?
I don't know if there's much. I think you are who you are. I think you hire. I like a diverse company. Very much all my life I have. I never wanted just one type of people. And I love people all around, all from all over the world. So I'm interested in culture, but I do believe we can be better together.
Is there one person like that you feel like you would have done things differently with, or like, what was it, some lessons learned through leadership and people? And is there any mistakes that you made along the way? Because we learn a lot from our mistakes.
Oh, I've made a lot of mistakes from the people side. Somewhat, if you're thinking you should get rid of somebody, you probably should have done it a month ago. That is one thing I've realized over time. And the other mistake is you interview, and then make sure you're ready and that person is the right person for it. So have several conversations to bring in somebody. It costs a lot of money to have staff. And, it's 25 to 30% more than what you're just paying them. So you got to look at those numbers and that they're going to fit in the team. The other mistakes I've done in business is I tried security. I tried heating company. I thought about roofing.
HVAC. It was a thing.
I thought about roofing. I've thought of many things. And it made me realize that businesses should stay in their lane.
Know what you're good at.
Know what you're good at. Stay in your lane. Focus on what you're good at. Train your people. You can improvise a little bit either way with technology, media, with marketing, with installation process, tools, equipment, automation, but stay in your lane.
Yep. That's great advice. Let's dive into some investment tips. because you've invested in many businesses over the years. What is your philosophy to investing, John?
My philosophy, like in stocks or whatever you're buying, stocks are businesses. So if you're buying a stock, I always believed in if I used it and it was good, it would be a good stock return. So like bank stocks, Canadian bank stocks and US bank stocks, or if you're buying, and gold is worth a lot, maybe that's a good one. And if AI is so smart, why wouldn't you buy AI or Microsoft or NVIDIA or so, just the common sense of if it works for you and it is smart, then it probably is smart.
Common sense applies.
Right. So I'm in with the mortgage group as a part of the BOD. And one of the common sense on that is somebody was saying just recently that RBC is saying interest rates are going up. And I am no expert on interest rates or anything like that. But I remember back in the late 80s, RBC was telling everyone to the interest rates are going to go up. They're going to go up. They were 13, 14% at the time. And so obviously I lock in for 5-year mortgage. And, the next 10 years, the interest rates went down and it went down way further. So, just be careful what you're thinking it is. If it doesn't make sense in society, it usually won't make sense in reality. So likely, today you think interest rates are going to go up, probably stay the same or less because the economy is slack right now.
Pro tips from John Tilstra, or JT as you're referred to around here. JT investment tips. We have often said that you've had a bit of a crystal ball, but you can see things. Where are you getting your information from? Like, what are you reading? Who are you talking to? Like, how you've always had this ability to kind of know what's coming and what's on the horizon. You said sometimes you don't. You've made mistakes along the way. But how are you getting your information and staying ahead of the curve?
Well, I read a lot on investments and papers, business news to keep up on stuff. But I also know a lot of people in business, so I keep up with what's coming up in the market and market trends, and I like to see these things. So like like you see Amazon. If your wife is buying Amazon 10 years ago, and you're thinking, oh, that's an evil company because it's getting everybody to shop online, but delivered to you there. They think that's brilliant. Well, you should buy shares in that. It is smart.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just saying, use your head, and then that's what usually works.
Yeah. Read diverse perspectives.
Yes.
Yeah. And lean on your trusted advisors is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
There. Yeah. Yeah. That's great advice. John, right now, for young people, there's a lot of decisions and a lot of different opportunities on career choices that they can go down. What advice would you give to young people entering the trades when it comes to mindset, work ethic, and building a career that they're proud of?
Well, I believe the trades are a real a place where people should go.
Yeah, me too.
You're going to make as much as doctors one day. I've been to several graduations in grade 12, and I would hear 40, 50 kids stating that they're going to go do this, going to go do that. And I love seeing how the development of minds change over time. But when I see 5 or 6 kids only going into the trades that are telling you on graduation out of 30 or 40, that is not enough. Trades is it cannot be replaced by AI. It cannot be replaced by anything else. Like right now, all kids are having a real issue. You went through graphic design through university, you got no job. You got what, 15 to 18% unemployment now for kids up to 30 years old. You got to really find your way in the trades or other issues. like you got so many issues now in technology and all that. Unless you're a professional, you got to change reporting, all that stuff. So I would say you get the trades, get your red seal, then you're off to supplying for your family forever. You can always do side jobs, you can do different things, and you can make a really good living.
Yeah. Really fun thing, the Alberta Construction Association at Spark Science Center in Calgary, they have an entire exhibit for kids, and they have virtual welding, and it's all opportunity for kids to be inspired by the trades as a future career. So we've spent many a Saturday afternoons there, and I think there is a shift that's happening where it is a very good career choice to go into the trades. And looking at it from an entrepreneurial perspective, you can start your own business. So you get the business side as well as the foundation in whatever trade you're looking to get into.
Yeah, and don't be scared to go on your own.
Yeah.
In the end, Canada and America was built on, entrepreneurship. So don't be scared to do it. Write it out. Think it through, get a business coach, and don't be scared to go for it, especially when you're young. It's a lot easier than when you're older.
Yeah, we've got some future guests that are going to be coming on the podcast that are at the early stages of building their business in the trade. So that will be a fun comparison to look forward to in the future. So John, giving back to the community has always been a very important thing to you, and you have had a tremendous impact in communities locally and globally. Let's talk about that impact for a minute, and what are some ways you've worked to give back?
Well, we went on several mission trips. I know you have come with me.
We went to Nicaragua together.
Yeah.
It was one of the biggest impacts of my life.
It was a teaching moment. I'm going to go back hopefully in November again.
Really awesome.
Yeah, and some friends of ours still want to go, and so we're going to do it. But we've been to Cuba. We've done a couple there. I love the missions of teaching people and working alongside the locals. It is very, very rewarding. We are a very fortunate country. And what we need to do is how do you share? How do you figure out how to share? How do you learn what the problems are in other countries and the resources that they need? And to be thankful for what we have, to be humble about these things.
Yeah.
So, and then also right here in close by, the night shifts, the Mackey's Place, the Help Kids, the Wagner Hills that help, with drug and alcohol rehabilitation, and so many organizations, Salvation Army, and you guys know Red Cross. There's so many great organizations to help, but we need to give back. It is something that many times you don't want to do, but when you do these things or help at these locations, it makes you feel better than they do.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually had our Centra Cares home renovation on Saturday, just last Saturday. And it's so amazing because we've been doing that for over a decade now, over 10 years. And we don't even have to ask our installers, and everyone just shows up. They're ready to help. They volunteer their time, and we get to install windows for a family in need. And this time it was a wonderful woman named Moira. And our crews get really excited about it, and giving back feels good. And,
right.
And you're doing it together, so there's also the team building component, and yeah.
Well, with Centra Cares though, just on the weekend, a lady had ALS. Jeff Clark, who is your COO, authorized at cost, and a bunch of us has paid for this family. The lady had ALS, 2 young kids, and they did the windows on it. Right here in Langley, and so these things are going around more and more than you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm really proud of you guys for doing that. Thank
you, John.
Awesome.
John, let's go into a little bit of the economics and where do you think it sits today? We're going to go into this in another podcast, but I want your quick response here, and then we're going to dive into it in more detail because this is a really important question.
Yeah, for society today, I see it's really, really changing. Over the last 25 to 40 years of my working life, I've never seen the last socialism coming in at extreme fast pace. And now we got the tariffs we're dealing with and the cost of these tariffs and where we're going to go. We got a lot of war mongering going on and positioning in the world. We need to pay attention to politics. We need to make sure we are voting and voting for the right reasons, because without any business, this province is going nowhere fast. And this is one of the most beautiful provinces in the world. And we have collapsing tourism. We're collapsing all our lumber industry. And we have to break some of these things, but we can go over that on the next time.
And for those of you that are listening outside of Canada, or where the province we're talking about is British Columbia in Canada, just to be clear on that one. But I think there's a lot that we could go into here, so we would love to have you back and dive into that in more detail. All right, let's dive into rapid fire. Are you ready for it?
Go ahead.
Okay. What is your unreasonable fear?
Society and government.
If you weren't in this industry, what would you be doing?
Business.
Business of some kind.
Yes.
Some variety. What would you tell your 18-year-old self, John?
Slow it down at the beginning of that. Life is a long period. And it was different for myself. I had to figure out ways to eat and basically survive because I left home early, and it was, so you want a quick rapid fire, but I can't give you a quick on that.
Okay.
But
you're going to have a long conversation with your 18-year-old self.
Yeah.
You two are going to get into it.
No, I would basically slow down and enjoy life and then go hard at it.
If there was a movie made about your life, John, who would be playing you? What actor?
George Clooney.
George Clooney. Any reasons behind it?
He's loyal.
He's a good actor. He's a good actor. He'd do a good job portraying you.
And he had to play that one in Up in the Air where he was firing people all over the world.
Oh, that was a hard character.
That's what it's like being a boss.
He could capture the essence of you. Thank you so much for joining us today, John. That was really fun. Thank
you, Emily.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it too. And I'm proud of you guys.
Thanks, John. Thank you to all of you for joining us on the Install Pros podcast today. We'll see you next time.